Hey everyone, I'm back here in my Lego set building space with the Lego Ideas Treehouse set. Now, I've already done a full review on this, in addition to publishing the footage that was taken originally from this space when I put the thing together. Got the real-time build, got the speed build version of it. So why am I looking at this again? Well, here's the thing. With my reviews, there are expectations. There are viewer expectations for how I do them, what I cover in them, how long they'll be, how much detail I get into. And, I really have to focus on getting through it and making sure that I cover as many of the individual details as possible. Even stuff that's super obvious, I need to say it. I need to come right out and speak about it. Otherwise, I get dinged, as if I've not seen stuff. So, there's a lot of focus on really the review itself and the review process when I'm doing reviews. And I feel like this set deserves a little bit more focus on just it. I feel like I didn't have enough time to really express, or enough maybe mental space in the review to really express how I feel about this set. Both good and bad. Mostly good though. I feel like it just deserves more time from me because I really, really like this. I'm going to say it's one of my favorite Lego sets to date that I've actually had in my hands. And I know that's going pretty far, and that's saying a lot. I probably have quite a few favorites, to be honest, but this is definitely way up there. And sorry if you can hear the turntable in the background, but hopefully that's not too distracting. Here's the thing. This just looks so nice to me. I mean, you can already see in the background that I like plants and kind of natural settings and natural surroundings and things. But, I mean, I live in a city. I've always lived in cities. I go take walks in regional parks and things. I've been exposed to actual nature quite a bit throughout my life, but I live in a city. However, I still really, really appreciate the look of natural things and plants and trees and also animals to a lesser extent. But this just brings joy to me. It brings calmness as well when I look at it. And I'm considering keeping it together. I mean, I don't think I have a good place to put it. So I'll need to figure out something. I'll need to have a little negotiation with myself to figure out where I would keep this, because definitely I cannot put it in New Jang City. Certainly not as it is, not without doing massive changes to it, because it's an official set, and that's not what New Jang City is about. And I can't figure out a good reason to put it into my Melonby district, because that's a cyberpunk themed area. Maybe off to one edge I can make it more of a edge of the city, or beyond the edge of the city, little space with the edge of a forest that's trying to reclaim some of the city, and then I can do some modifications here. I don't know, but I just don't want to take this apart yet, because looking at it just partly is just nice. It's very easy on the eyes, but also it helps to remind me of what's good about Lego on the whole. I mean, even the figures, they're so generic. They're not specific to any theme. They're not specific to any brand beyond Lego itself. And they're just, I don't know, I feel like so much here just encapsulates what is good about Lego and what has always been good about Lego. The ability to use imagination. I don't think there have been too many things like this built in the world. These would tend to be individual dwellings, but here it's been portrayed as a single house, essentially, with just multiple independent rooms. But this isn't a typical thing that you see in real life. Usually when people build tree houses, they'll build a structure. It'll be one major structure, or if it's multiple structures, they'll be directly connected together. This is mostly fantasy here, but it's really well done fantasy. Really good uses of a lot of the pieces, not too many, brand new pieces or relatively recent pieces or anything, but good uses of them. I actually turned the foliage down, just angled a lot of these boughs down just at the ends of the branches here, just to see what would happen if that would make it look like this was a little bit more of a tree. Because I do still have some issues personally with the visual presentation of this. When I look at it more specifically, I'll go ahead and put some of the branches back. It just feels like it needs more leaves, I think, for a tree-based thing. And from certain angles, the trunk looks absolutely huge. Like I feel like the entire tree was cut off. Like it needs almost that height, at least half that height more worth of foliage above all of this to make it properly or closer to properly proportioned, I think, especially considering the thickness of the trunk down here, but just with the overall proportions of the thing and how wide the human built portions are, how far out they go, and the amount of foliage that's here. I feel like it needs more. And maybe that is something that I could consider doing in the future, just adding another module or two on top, another canopy module, just to flatten out the top a little bit. Use some of the building techniques that were already introduced here and just extend that up a little bit. Would probably be a good thing, although I really want to use the leaves for my own custom things. So, let's see what becomes of that. But I definitely want to keep this together for right now because it's just such a good thing. This down here as well. Let's see if I can move you in here a little bit. This down here, the stream is nice. I like how crystalline it looks. I like how bright and shiny it is. Doesn't look like it's flowing that much, although there's a suggestion here with all the studs. There's a suggestion of turbulent water, but it doesn't look like it's flowing in a certain direction. Maybe I could imagine there being like stream bed rocks on the base of this, and it's just not very deep. But then again, you do see the blue. I don't know. There's something about it that's nice. I don't like the fact that the roots or the lower part of the tree is all floating a little bit. I'm actually surprised that the Lego designer didn't put some tiles under there to help fix that, to make that better. It really doesn't bug me from any kind of distance. But when I do get up close to it and look at it more as a Lego build from the perspective of someone who does Lego builds, that does bother me a bit. It just could have been done better. So yeah, there are definitely some individual things that certainly could have been improved about this, but overall, just so much of it is so good. And these houses or these rooms are much better than I ever would have expected. I was genuinely surprised as I put this together, and then as I opened them back up to get in there to do the review, the proper review, to look at the details, just how much usable space there really is in there, in addition to the small details. So it's almost as if very few compromises were accepted in the building of this, because oftentimes with even creator expert stuff, when they try to put in a bunch of detail, you end up with not enough space to really put figures in there and do stuff. Or with some of the other themes, when they do structure builds, you have minimum space. But this actually has usable space for the figures throughout, in addition to almost maximum level of detail in the interior. Tiled floors even inside. Tiled little balcony area here just in front of the main door. So yeah, I guess that's the main thing. I just wanted to express a little bit more how much I really like this personally, outside of the context of a review and looking at it for your sake, for viewers' sake, and and sharing what I think prospective buyers need to know or want me to look at and talk about. Just to me personally, this is one of the nicer things that Lego's done. And it's very unexpected for me because I typically like the city stuff. When I think of what makes me happy in Lego, it's mostly city-related things. At least this is minifig scale. That's very important to me, and being able to interact in many ways with the minifigures within this, I think, is important. They could have had some additional studded spots on some of the walkways and also on the stairway, but that's so easy to modify in. But being able to put minifigures into a scene is very important. But typically, I'm more into technology and modern stuff. This is not my type of thing typically, at least not in Lego form. Though I did enjoy the Ewok Village set back in the day. I wish I had not taken that one apart, because it definitely would have connected to this pretty nicely and made for a nice extended scene. But yeah, this makes me happy. I'm really happy about it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, maybe if you have any suggestions, feel free, but to share. But I'm just not certain myself. I'll figure something out, but for now, I'm just going to leave it off to the side. I think I might switch it back to the green foliage. I still have all these. A lot of these are still together in their original form, so it wouldn't take that much time to switch it back. I think that the yellow and dark orange, or the orangish yellow and the dark orange, are more striking than the green, but I personally prefer spring colors. I think that ideal for me would have been if they had either replaced the bright green with regular green, or replaced the dark green with regular green. One of the two, so that there would be less contrast here. I would vote for replacing the bright green with just regular green, that normal green, so you have this color combination and more even between the two. When you look at this base down here, you see mostly dark green, so it ends up looking kind of dark. But if you cut some of that off and mostly look at the regular green areas and just see a little bit of darkness in there, that's kind of the color combination and color balance that you would get from the canopy of this set if you replaced the bright green with regular green. And that's another thing that I could think about trying in the future, is just doing that. But I'm actually either out or almost out of those regular green leaf pieces myself right now. Anyway, yeah, I just felt like I needed to say more. I needed to spend some more time with this. I felt like I wasn't able to be casual enough about this and share enough of my feelings as opposed to impressions in the review. So yeah, that's that. If anything else comes up that I think about that I want to share, I might just put it on a blog post or something. Not saying that I'm going to do that, but if something else comes up, I won't bother you with another full video. But I felt like this needed something else from me. So that's that. If you have any additional thoughts that you'd like to share, feel free to share down below. And again, if you have any suggestions about what I personally ought to do with this now, knowing that it's not going to go into New Jang City, period, not going to happen. Anything else, if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm going to get to work on building something else in this space, and I'll talk to you again soon.